Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the usual Sunday stream. Just bear with me a moment. I'm just gonna get everything working correctly. That's fine. I know that Evo is still streaming, so I'm going to assume things are going to be quiet for a while. But yeah, I'm just going to get going straight away. If you're around in chat, do say hello. It is always nice to know people are there. And yeah, I'm just going to get going, really. Right. What do I want to do today? Hello, Rob. And you are first. I assume everyone else is going to be busy watching Evo. So, yeah. Just going to get going with some decoration work, I think. While I figure out what I want to do today. Hello, Gravebuster. And hello, Berenson. Yeah, I think I want to kind of figure this bit out down here, actually. Well, Gravebuster, I've basically completed the entrance area. I did some decoration work on this yesterday. This is basically done, apart from a little bit of a few more other decorative stuff I want to add in, but I'm waiting for a particular mod to come, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But this bit is basically done. I've given them a nice flanking pair of brachiosaurs there. The central exhibit, which we basically did last stream, the greenhouse, the glass walkway into it, and the other end is basically completed. I decorated the entirety of the inside yesterday as well, and obviously I've done a little bit of design work on the plazas at either end, and obviously last stream we did the Sarcosuchus, not Suchomimus, Sarcosuchus lagoon. So, thank you, Rob. Today, I want to kind of figure out the rest of this sort of area up here, because really I need to sort of plan out where stuff is going to go. What dinosaurs are in the main exhibit? Well, the big exhibit here, we've got Ankylodocus. We've got Euoplocephalus. There should be some Diabloceratops somewhere. We've got Alamosaurus in here as well. I think Diablo's usually in the middle. Yeah, there's Diabloceratops. And there should be some Tenontosaurus in here as well. Only the one there. I don't know where the rest of them have gone. And there's quite a lot of sort of space in here, so I'm thinking of adding another species in here as well. So it's quite a populated enclosure, that. But yeah, today I want to kind of focus on this area here and this area here. Like, how are we gonna sort of design the area where the greenhouse, where the glass walkway viewing area kind of. How are we going to combine or join this to the park, basically, is what I want to do. I do need to think about where I'm going to be putting the access to the logs, the viewing logs, because that'll give guests a reason to come down here. I'm actually going to destroy the entrances so that we can rebuild them in a minute. So, how do I want people to get... How do I want people to get here? Possibly, I mean, in terms of species, I'm pretty open-minded. But I do want to try and use more hybrids in this particular build, because I don't think I've used any of my hybrids really that much, so I wanna try and create some sort of hybrid park. So, or hybrid using park. So, I'm thinking we need to have some sort of plaza here. The awkward thing is this is at an angle because it had to be. So maybe I should... Okay, let's do this. Let's go down 1 and 2. Let's put in... Okay. Right, joining the path in will just be a matter of getting it up. That. One, two, go straight down. Hopefully that should give me waypoints. Like that. Don't dislike it. It's not symmetrical, but it doesn't have to be. Stegoceratops will definitely have to go into the park at some point. Stegoceratops is probably my favorite of the hybrids. Like, I'm not a massive fan of the hybrids, but Stegoceratops is probably one I'm least... I least hate, is probably the best way of putting it. Ironically, that's my least favorite. Why is it your least favorite, Berenson? I'm curious. Is it because it's just too over the top? I mean, I suppose if you're going to be critical, Stegoceratops is the one that most looks like a monster. Oh, you bastard. Deleted my... He just did something. Let's do the same here. So let's go at an angle. So kind of do 1, 2, 3, 4. I prefer that. That's better. Let's leave a kind of an amount of space here. Yep. And same here. An amount of space. Yep. No worries, Parenton. You were never a fan of the Spinoraptor, Joe? Yeah. Spinoraptor is probably one of my least favorites because I think it's quite boring. I could think of a lot of ways to spruce the Spinoraptor up and make it a lot more interesting. Tolerances here, but that I cannot tolerate. That is better, and we can cover that up. Oh, everyone's popping in now. Top 3 dinosaurs you want in Jurassic World Evolution 3. Gravebuster says Plateosaurus, Shatungosaurus and Protoceratops. Protoceratops and Plateosaurus, I think, are 2 that definitely have to be in there for me. Shatungosaurus, I can kind of take it or leave it. I'm not a massive fanboy of the Shatunga. But Protoceratops and... well, Protoceratops because it's so famous, and Plateosaurus because, like, it is the de facto Triassic period dinosaur. Like, I feel like they should have been in the game already. I think the fact that Jurassic World Evolution 2 doesn't have them is really quite bizarre. That's just my opinion, however. Whether we should have that tool or not. I think it looks better, a little bit more bushy. Custom hybridization, I think, would be really very difficult for any evolution game, just because of the sheer weight of species that they already have. I don't think it's possible to ever have a system where you could hybridize every single animal in the game. I think a system where you can hybridize from a selection, I think that's relatively doable. But hybridizing every single animal in the game, I just don't think it's... I don't think it's reasonable, frankly. Okay, now I do want part of this to just be vegetation, but I think I do want part of this to continue up to sort of around here. So, just put this in here. Like that. And have a nice log wall there. And I think we'll give them a bit of a curved log wall there. And we can do something with this area down here, like we've done sort of around here already. And then this bit, basically the same. Go up to there. And then all of this in here will basically be vegetation. I'll just basically lay that out. Thus. I do want this path area, though, to sort of continue over. So I'm thinking over here, sort of, let's just mark it out from like here. And from sort of here. So this bit, we need to have something in here that isn't an enclosure. Not sure what to put in there yet, but that's the thinking. Imagine if we could clone cave. I mean, cloning cavemen. There's all sorts of ethical dilemmas to that. I mean, I think this park is bad enough. I think Jurassic Park and the whole idea of it is bad enough. So I'm just gonna have a slurp of Pepsi. Hello, Nicholas. Okay, so I don't necessarily want this to be a hexagon. I just laid out that skeletal framework because, yeah, it was the easiest thing to do down here. What I'm thinking is do some more laying out. I'm thinking that feasibly this in here could be an enclosure down here. This could be an enclosure for something. Got fairly nice views over there. Then I'm thinking all this sort of here, because I was thinking of having hotels up here, so we could have the hotels around here, or this could be like the plaza that accesses the hotels, and we could sort of hide the hotels in the back. So, you know, if you're in these hotels, you get a nice view out of the bay, which I think is a nice view. And then we could still have another possible enclosure running kind of here. Maybe make it a little bit larger. I mean, really, we need to also have some amenities down on this side, like we have over here. But they will probably go in this gap here. That's the thinking, at least. Well, funny you should say that, Gravebuster. This week's video that's coming out on Wednesday, I'm going over what I think of Rebirth's animal designs. I low-key agree with you. I think the Titanosaurus design is very good. So what can we do over here? I was pondering putting a large attraction in. Where are they? Because, I mean, it would fit in here. I just really don't like the attractions, because I think they're really boring. They don't really do anything. So I would rather build something. I'm just not sure what. Maybe we could. You know, if we put something like this here, it would give a view over this enclosure we have here. It's a bit big though, isn't it? If it was a little smaller. What other buildings could we put in there? We've got the other innovation center, which I do actually quite enjoy, which could also go in here. Now we could just combine it into there. Rob thinks it's fine. Let's just have a quick goosey and see if there's anything else here. Be nice to use that somewhere. I mean, the normal innovation center would also work here, but I have a different idea for that. And I suppose the old visitor center would also work here, but I do quite like this building. I think it's quite a unique building, and I think it stands out because of that. I don't necessarily like it being sort of like that. I think maybe I want it at a bit of an angle. That's a little more in line with this path here, you see. Not perfectly in line with it, but that's solvable. No. Let's do a better job than that. It just needs to be turned a little bit, not too much. That's probably enough. And then put it back. Good at getting this in the right place, am I? Needs to be around there. Okay. Yeah. Put some rocks either side over here and put some rocks over here. And then we can easily turn this whole area down here into an enclosure. Sink the level down a bit so we get rid of this horrible ridge line that's up here. Make it quite a lot lower. And then the people up here would still have a view in. People up here would have the best view in. Right. Let's go out by one. Out by one. Two. Down. Again. No, that's not what I told you to do. Up to the edge there. And basically do there. This one, I'm going to go out and do the same thing, kind of up to the edge here, and that's a little short. That, and then the rock wall will kind of go from there and around to there, or we'll probably put a fence actually in there, I think. Glass fences should definitely be added or considered for the next Game Grave Buster, I do agree. Oh, Berenson has time to explain why he hates Stegoceratops. It's over the top, it doesn't use a Thagomizer. I had to pay for it again. And the fact... Oh, well, Berenson, some of that stuff isn't the Stegosaurus' fault. Some of that stuff is the fault of Frontier. I thought you were like, I don't like the animal because of stuff. Not necessarily the fact that Frontier did a totally crap job of bringing it back to the game. That's not poor old Stegosaurus' fault. Just thinking about how I want to sort of do this area. So I definitely want there to be a little bit of a dividing line between... Why am I building... I want there to be a dividing line between the plaza and the main route through. Now this down here, I do want it to be a little thicker. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing down here. So we're going to have a dividing, a little bit thicker than that. Not as thick as that. Yeah, okay. there. Then I think I do want there to be like a bit of plaza here. Just wondering if we should change the color of the path. No, I don't think we will. I think we'll leave it all as what we had it as. We'll make these paths a little thicker. This one I think is thick enough. And then we'll do the same down here, so... Can't do the same down here because it's... Okay. That's a bit annoying. What's low health? What's going on? What's up? There's food all around you. There's literally food everywhere, my dude. Some of these dinosaurs are not terribly intelligent. Hello, Darsoni. Oh, you've come straight from Evo stream. Well, thank you for tuning in. You should name your dinosaurs. I name my dinosaurs occasionally, but I don't do it as a matter of course. I'm just not someone who has ever sort of seen any purpose to doing that. I name them on occasion, but it's not something I do very often. I mean, I'm not a particularly big fan of this... this modern thing that the Jurassic community does, where every single dinosaur in Jurassic Park needs to have a name. Like, I don't really understand it. Like, they already have names. You don't need to give them really silly ones like Quilliam, for example. Ugh. Honestly. I mean, it's a bit thick, but I think it makes this look a little bit more, I don't know, hedgerows, or should we do a different fence? I think that's not very inviting. I think low hedges. I think we'll stick to low hedges. Or lower hedges. I think the big bushy ones are too much. Rexy makes me kind of cringe. Well, Dinoman, that is what the name for her always was, you know. Rexy was the only one that was ever made, that was ever named anyway. What I don't understand is this concept of having to name every single animal. Like, apparently now the Aquilops in the new film is called Dolores. I'm like, you know, naming the T-Rex was one thing, because, you know, it's T-Rex, for goodness sake. But naming some 2-bit micro herbivore that's kind of worthless as far as the games go anyway. I just don't understand the point of it. Well, I do understand the point. The point is because it makes them more marketable so that they are, you know, better marketable sort of objects for selling. Hello, Colt. Okay, so this will be planted area. This will be some sort of entrance area. I'm thinking, should we line this with hedgerows as well? If we're going for like the posh hotel look, I think it makes sense. There'll be rocks there. Okay, and obviously there'll be plenty of vegetation, a few statues, that sort of thing, here. I think we could still call it the Safari Lodge, you know. I don't think that's a particularly bad name for a posh hotel that's right next door to this enormous enclosure. Now then. The real question is, what sort of enclosure do we build here? Now, where is the ground level here? It's... ground level is sort of here. So that's ground level. How far does that extend? It extends all the way to here. Okay. Oh, hello, Chopper. Let's take it all the way up to this building. And we're gonna do, I think we're gonna do a few different things here. So at this sort of halfway point, go up by 2. Is that too much? I don't think it's too much. I don't think that's too cutting in too much. Though it's not exactly perfect. Let's sort that out. Hello, Josiah. Lots of people popping in. is very appreciated. Newcomers to the channel as well. If you are new, do consider subscribing. Helps the channel grow. Growth has been really sluggish so far this year. Can we call it monster poop and not a mutant? Well. You'll all be able to hear my feelings on the mutant in Wednesday's video, as it happens. Just going to give myself a bit of extra space to work here. Put water in. Oh, it's not water level, is it? Typical. How much? Where is the water level? Where is it? It's there. Typical. Ugh, I really don't like the way the water works in this game. It's such an annoying aspect. Like responsible for most of my messing around I have to do on maps is fixing the bloody water system. So flippin' annoying. Now what I want to do for this kind of enclosure is have an area where there is some semi-deep water. Like enough for there to be wallowing. That's something I want to do for this enclosure. I'm not sure whether we're going to have carnivores or herbivores in here, but regardless of what we do have, I want there to be some wallowing. Now, let's go and grab some glass. And before I do, I'm just going to give you guys a sneak peek. So, a couple of weeks ago, I commissioned, well, I think it was last week, I commissioned Viral Cyclops to make a mod for me. And he's already begun with 2 of the things I have asked him to do. So this is a sneak peek in preparation for what my mod that I've commissioned him to work on is going to do. So you'll now be able to place these wherever you like, and they even, if I go here, they even still have the lighting on. So you'll be able to place down these singular objects wherever you like. There is more coming, but those are the only 2 that Viral has done so far. But once the whole mod is ready, I shall enjoy showing that off to all of you. Now then, I'm thinking, what particular type of glass do we do down here? I'm thinking we'll do this. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna put another one in there. I think we'll do another one, so we'll make it almost an entire glass. Oh, that one was a little too far away. There we go. I think log wall makes sense. Shrink it a bit so we can get that curve in. There we go. Nice. We won't run it all the way along. Maybe we will. No, actually, I don't think we will. I want there to be a bit of a gap so that we can put something in there. Trees or whatever. So, let's make there a bit of a gap. Stop auto-snapping, please. And if you think this, so this there'll be rocks here, so you won't be able to see in it from there. We're going to do the same over here, so we're going to do that, and shrink it a bit. I think it's likely that the rebirth animals will be added in via a DLC rather than be in the game as is. Just because I think it falls into this sort of idea of, well, the film is not the setup for the film is not really one that makes much sense for a park building game. So I think it makes sense to introduce just the animals, because I think the animals, if you're going to introduce them to the game, I think it makes sense to introduce them as a DLC rather than I like using the invisible fencing with the glass panels. I just think it gives the glass panels a bit of substance, makes it look like they're not going to just fall over in the wind. I mean, personally, I think the rebirth animals should come to the game as a free pack that we all get when the movie comes out. Or, you know, after the game has been out for, you know, a few weeks or whatever. Just give us all the rebirth animals for free. Like you did with Fallen Kingdom. Because I feel that Rebirth's depiction of some of these animals is very controversial for a lot of the community. And I think a lot of the community is going to look at that horrible D-Rex and just be like, why should I spend money on buying this pack when I don't really like most of the animals in it? Because I don't think the D-Rex is worth having for the game. I don't think the Quetzal is worth having. I prefer the old Quetzal. The new Spino, perhaps. The Rex and Raptor, they're just skins. And the Titanosaurus is probably the only one that I would actually be willing to pay for. I think we'll go for big and bushy again here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Rob Earth makes a very good point. Like, we know that they're going to do everything they can to make money. So making the Rebirth Animals DLC seems to make sense to me from a business standpoint. It's a terrible idea to, you know, it's a terrible thing for us as consumers. I don't support the use of excessive amounts of DLC in general, but if I was Frontier and wanting to try and think about how I'm going to earn money, making the Rebirth Animals DLC content, I think, makes a lot of sense. Because it's only really the Spinosaurus redesign and the Titanosaurus that I would buy it for. I mean, D-Rex would never go in... Why am I calling it D-Rex? It's legitimizing it. The mutant would never go in any of my parks. Right. So that's our broad enclosure line. Now, what I want to do, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to have it from like this end, because this little cutout, it's kind of pointless here. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the placeable deep water. There we go. And I'm just going to place this down basically here. And then we're going to place one down there. And place one down there. Why is this not... Why is that not flat? Why is that not at ground level? That should be... That should be not... So water height is not the same as placeable deep water. That's interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out here. Bear with me for a second. See that sticking above. That's above. Why is it not on like the ground? I never noticed that before. It's on the ground there. No, it isn't. Weird. I've never noticed that before about this placeable deep water. Anyway, let's get this on. Let's get this sorted. Otherwise, I'll be here all day. So, on there. One there. We're going to place normal water. Thus, Look, it's so much taller than the rest of it should be. And we're going to use the dig terrain. Of course, you can't. Ah. The feeling when you've forgotten how you wanted to do something that you did before. Yeah, I'm very much not excited, Grave Buster. I'm afraid the modern Jurassic franchise just it just doesn't, I think, hold up anymore. It's made too many errors, in my opinion. I have no faith that Rebirth is going to be anything more than a dismal failure as a film. I'm sure it will make loads of money, but I have absolutely no faith in the movie at all. Does the water have to be... Oh, I've forgotten how I bloody do this. Place placeable to the water. Place normal water. Drop the terrain, then can't drop it with the line. How do you do this? I've totally forgotten. I'm trying to make an area of deeper water that goes into normal height water, but I've forgotten how to do it. Which is always the way when you have an idea for something. It's alright having the normal water there, but you can't lower the terrain up to it. See you later, Darsoni. Can't you first place water everywhere and then place the artificial water? It's more the ridge. It's more the sort of lack of being able to get rid of the ridge water makes, because you can't have flat terrain. Oh, sorry, Lorenzen. I suppose that was kind of obvious. Unless I put the water at a height. Ah. I think I figured out how to do it. No. Yeah. How much lower does this have to be to allow it to be built? So that's water height. Can that not be water height? Yes, it can. That's water height for there. You still get that enormous ridge line. I know what I want to do, it's just the annoyance of trying to manipulate the flippin' awful tools that this game provides to actually allow you to do it. Okay. Let's try this again. Place down the water, which is somehow not flat. Which I don't understand. Let's bring the water level up, because apparently the water level, ground level is the same as water level. Now can we put normal water? Okay. Oh, that might have been too much normal water. then can we drop the terrain down? I mean, there's clearly still water there. Deep is that? I'm just wondering, like, how deep is that for, like, because the idea was that the animals should still be able to go. Okay, so something like a Laura Titan is fine. Might have to think about what animal I want to put in here. Because this wallowing area might be a bit deep. Let's make it a little more shallow, shall we? Might be a bit better. It's not perfect, but it is what it is. We have to work within, you know, those systems that Jurassic World Evolution gives us. There's only so much you can do with them. Mods only take you so far. People that say they can't make good parks even with using mods tells me that, like, those people struggle with making good parks in general. Modding only takes you so far. That'll do. And let's give it some extra nicety. So we're going to go 4. Probably won't need 4, but put 4 in here anyway. And we're going to have rocks in the back. Where is the... That's water level there. Okay, rocks. Going to be a little higher. Maybe too high. Good. That's a good goal to have, Berenson. And exactly, Robert. Modding is only a tool. Mods don't make good parks. Having a good imagination and good park building skills in general. I think is the more important thing. Obviously, we'll be putting rocks and stuff in here, vegetation. So, the question is, what animal do we put in here? Because we haven't decided that. And I'm not 100% sure what animal to put in here. Like, usually I have some certainty. Not for this one. You know what I'm actually going to do? I know it's cheeky, but I don't want the animals to go too far into this one. No, that's actually... That's good. Okay. Rubearth! The compies, you know my view on compies. Landscaping, yes, and hey, I like gardening, you know. Hello, Luna. Spino does fit with the water. Laura Titan. We could have a Laura Titan next to Spino. Spino eats fish, right? fishes for the Sino-Spino. Okay, Sino-Spino, we'll go and pick some skins out for it. Works with water height. What shall we have living alongside? We'll have a non-hybrid herbivore living alongside. Allura Titan was suggested. Maybe. I haven't used Allura Titan in a while. I was thinking more like Stegosaurus, because I haven't used Stego in ages. Or maybe Iggy. Iggy I've used quite a lot. Edmonto I don't use anywhere near as enough as I should, to be honest. I think Edmonto, actually. We'll use Edmontosaurus and Sinospinosaurus. How does this line up with the... That's a bit borderline. I think definitely, for realism's sake, we need another fence line in front of the fencing. I think something like this would be fine. Should we actually use a proper... We put a line of fencing there. I don't think it affects that view too badly. So let's start. We'll actually start. Might need it smoothing out a little bit. Get flattened. It really annoys me that the terrain height tool, like, the contours are so difficult to work with. Like, what is this over here? Like, honestly. Ugh, I don't really like that. I know I normally go for realism, but I think in this situation, I think we'll leave realism off. Just this once. Don't normally do that. But just this situation. Right. Let's go get those animals, shall we? Well, obviously she, but that was because I hadn't put in, like, the perimeter rocks and stuff. I'm okay, Luna. How are you doing? Prehistoric Kingdom's camera is basically designed for the modular building system. So the camera does work a little bit differently. Oh, that's true, Rob. I can put some rocks down in front of the glass. And leave my tail alone, she. Sino, Spino. And obviously we're going to need male and female. And Laura Titan. Oh no, we went with Edmonto in the end, didn't we? Edmonto. Male and females. Change the direction of the sun so we can actually see the thing properly. Let's find a skin color first. It's quite bright. I feel like the two greens go very well as a male and female. And those two work reasonably well. Those two work. She says dark green female, light green male. Well, actually, yeah. I think the dark green is more the female color. Okay, Solar del Huasco and should we give the males the Lux pattern? What does the Lux pattern look like again? That's what the Lux pattern looks like. Thing is about the Lux pattern, I really don't like how it looks during the day. I really don't think the Lux pattern works with, No, I saw your message, Lena. I really don't think the Lux pattern works with that particular skin. I think that's better, personally. I really like that. Salar del Huasco and Papyrana. And then the female will be... I think the female will be that. So the female still has some coloration, which is still the sort of yellows that you get on the males, and you still got a little bit of the brown that you still got on the males. It's just less on the head and less on the sail. So Limpopo River and Calcarana. Right, Edmontosaurus. Okay, we want something that's going to contrast with the green. So probably going to go with the brown, I think. So males will be mangrove forest, and the females will be... I think I'm going to make the females Great Sandy Desert, just so there's quite a bit of distinction. Great Sandy Desert. And the males will give... Honestly, most of the skins here don't really work with this skin color. I mean, the red-headed one looks okay, I suppose. Oh, you're going to Las Vegas. Well, I hope you have fun, Luna. Yeah, I need to have a look for some Edmontosaurus skins, to be honest. You know, that still just kind of works perfectly fine. I think I'll just go with Rana, to be honest. The females, we can still give Rana to. Unless we give them the red. I think using the main body as the color change is fine for these guys. Well, let's get back into the game. Looks Indian. Not sure how you think that, Nicholas. Oddly enough, we've had no dropped frames tonight. And I suspect it might be Discord that's doing it, because I have quit Discord while I've been streaming, and I haven't had a problem. Right, let's go and breed these animals. Spinoceratops, Solar Delhoasco, and Papyrana. We'll do one male. And this one should be Limpopo River and Calcarana. 3 females. Because it's not a particularly massive enclosure, so
acknowledging asset collection request.
We don't want to overfill the thing.
Collecting asset.
I'm tempted to put an actual viewing gallery or viewing tower or something at this end, because obviously this
transit has commenced.
This plaza is going to lead to the hotel area and leads into here, so maybe having a dedicated... Oh, damn, I've just forgotten something. Got to find somewhere to have these entrances for the viewing. I suppose we could have them on the walls.
Asset being transported.
I kind of want to have off the fence. Just have them there and...
Asset transportation complete.
I need to think about that one off stream, I think.
Asset transportation underway.
One has... Oh, there he is. Still think hybrids are stupid, but some are stupider than others. Ed Montesaurus. Went too far. Compies will never ever go in a serious park, I do. Just don't see the point of them. They're just so fucking useless.
Delivery has been completed. Picking up asset.
I think we might have
asset transit.
too many animals.
En route to collect the asset.
We'll see how full it looks once they're all inside.
Asset delivery confirmed.
Why are you fighting with each other?
asset has been collected.
Need to obviously put some rocks and decoration in here, but
Confirming asset delivery. Asset transportation in progress.
definitely put some rocks in here.
Delivery complete.
Just to stop him getting too close to the glass.
Assets in the air. Asset transported.
Obviously, this side, you know,
Transportation underway.
there's little chance of the dinosaurs escaping this side. The chances are they'll drown or break their necks
Complete.
if they fall down this cliff, so
Transporting asset.
we don't need to worry about a back fence. And that's just me.
Asset delivered.
That's just me being practical.
Asset in transit.
Are you
Asset
going
has been
to-
delivered.
Where are you going? Nowhere,
Asset has
really.
been transported.
I think that's a sufficient number of dinosaurs. Oh, the park is open. No, I didn't ask you to open the park. Yeah, I think that's a sufficient number of animals. I don't think that's too many. I do think we should have a viewing gallery or something here. Maybe a good old-fashioned viewing tower. Doesn't really give nice views of anything apart from this enclosure, but she is just saying dinosaur names that he's heard me say. She doesn't know dinosaurs. If we are going to have the J-Bog viewing tower, I think we won't have it connected to the actual fence. I think we'll have it sort of like here. Something like that. They're so loud. All of these animals make so much noise. That's a bit dangerous. I only want a small. I want a small. It's totally safe to put fire near plants. I mean, it depends on the plant, really, doesn't it? There are certain plants which become much better when they're burned. I'm sure you're all intelligent enough to know the ones I'm referring to. But there are some which you definitely shouldn't set fire to. She stop antagonizing people. I think that works really well down in this area, to be honest. I really like how this section of the park is looking. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of decoration work to go in. All these big empty white places, they all need to have rocks and vegetation and stuff put in, trees and stuff. What is your favorite Jurassic franchise movie? Probably the first one. I think the first one is still probably my favorite. I will defend that I think The Lost World and 3 are not as bad as people claim. Dominion is definitely, in my opinion, the worst, and Fallen Kingdom is just kind of where the franchise died. I think Fallen Kingdom is where the franchise demonstrated that it was beyond help, and Dominion killed it for me. What I don't understand about the Jurassic films is the dislike for the Lost World. Like, what is people's problems with the Lost World? Out of all of them, I think the Lost World is one that has the least amount of problems. Of all of the, you know, the sequels. I mean, like, I feel it has the least number of problems with it. So the fact that the Lost World gets so much hate is always a persistent surprise to me. I don't quite understand people's issues with it. Is it simply because it's Ian Malcolm and no one likes Ian Malcolm? Is that the problem? I mean, it's a perfectly understandable problem. I'm not a massive fan of Ian Malcolm myself. Oh, look, they're wallowing. Doing with each other. You cannot sleep. He's sleeping under the water. These ceratopsians are stupid. He's gonna drown. He's going to drown himself. He's literally sleeping with the fishies. Yeah, like, I just don't get the hate towards the Lost World. Like, Jurassic Park 3 I understand, because JP3 is where the franchise started, you know, slipping off the rails a bit. And I do completely understand people's hatred of that film. But The Lost World? Like, it's not that bad. Ian Malcolm is a bit annoying, yeah, but no more annoying than Claire and Owen. Maybe here's the fish whisperer. He has learned to commune with the fish. Honestly, now that Evo started modding, I feel like my parks are so shit in comparison to hers. Like, now that she's modding, it's like, oh god. I really need to like up my game on so many aspects of this. Thank you, Gravebuster. Oh, I feel like some of the stuff that Evo is doing now that she has mods is really incredible. I do especially like some of the work she's been doing with making rock walls. I've been trying to do something similar over here as I've been slowly going along and decorating it. My problem is that obviously I'm not on the top of the line rig system as she is. I'm sort of an average style rig. It's not a potato, but it's not like top of the line. So I do also want the park to run nicely. So I'm not being too excessive with stuff, but you know, I think this is definitely looking nice-ish along here. RTX 3050, Berenson. I am thinking of upgrading at some point towards the end of the year. But yeah, this is looking good. I love the fact that we really haven't done very much today. Like all we've done is like mark out this area down here, mark out the rest of this area. We put in a hotel and we've like done one enclosure that's like really half, like 1/3 done. Oh, it's taken a lot to get us to this point in time, but I think this is actually looking really good, and I really like the use of the Safari Lodge here, especially considering they can also like look in here as well. So I think it really works, and these guys will obviously be able to look down into whatever we do there, or look down into the bay. So yeah, I think it's pretty decent. Do we have a view of that? Oh, look, there we go. We got a view from up on the top. Yeah, I think this will work, I think. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Obviously, next week, usual streams on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, on Sunday. And the video is ready to go on Wednesday too. So everything is ready to go there. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already subscribed or liked, please consider doing so, because it does help us grow. We are slowly grinding our way towards 3,000 subs, and it would mean a lot to get there before the end of the year, before summer if we could do it. So yeah, every little helps. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I will see you guys next week, and wherever you are, enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Stay safe, and good night.